All right, we're going to look at some equations involving the fractions. Now, there's several different ways that you could think about these and how you want to handle them. Uh, the first way that I'm wanting to show you is to do what's called clearing the denominator. So the problem that we have is that we have a fraction. And so what you can do to get rid of the fraction, one way is to just multiply the entire equation, or multiply both sides of the equation by whatever the denominator is. Okay. So what I could do is just multiply everything I see in the equation by the denominator. So if I multiply by 2, it's actually going to cancel out this denominator. Right. So what I have is 2 times 1/2, which is just going to equal 1 whole, and so I'm just left with the x. Okay. And then, of course, you got to multiply the right side by 2 as well. 2 times the 40, well, that's going to equal 80. And that's our answer here. All right, what the original problem said was just half of what number is equal to 40? Well, half of 80 is equal to 40. Okay? You could think of it that way. Another popular way to think about how to handle fractions, instead of clearing the denominator, which I love, is to multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of the fraction. So remember, the reciprocal is where you just flip the fraction. So what I can do is multiply both sides by 2 over 1, okay, or just 2. And the same thing's going to happen. This 2 over 1 and this 1 over 2 are just going to cancel out. What you end up with is a 2 on top and a 2 on bottom, and so that gives you a 1. All right, that's going to leave you with an x. And then, of course, 40 times 2 over 1 is just 80. Let's go ahead with another one. Let's do x over -3 is equal to 6. All right, so it's some number divided by -3 is equal to 6. So what do you have to divide by 3 in order to get 6? Looks like 18, but it would need to be a -18 in order for this to work out. So -18 is going to be our answer. But how do we get it? Okay, so one thing I want to point out is if you're just crazy about fractions and you want to see the fraction, this left side, that is the same as -1/3 times x. All right, that and that are identical. So you could just rewrite the problem like this and then handle it kind of like we did up here, where you cleared the denominator by multiplying by 3. And that would be a totally okay way of solving this problem. The other way is just do the opposite of what's happening to the x. The problem says x is being divided by -3. So to cancel out the division by -3, I need to times by -3 on both sides. So the dividing by -3 and the multiplying by -3, those just cancel each other out. And so I'm left with x equals 6 times -3, which is -18. Cool. All right. This last one here, I'm going to have 3/5 times some number is equal to 10. So 3/5 of some number is equal to 10. I could either clear the denominator, or I could multiply by the reciprocal of 3/5. It's up to us. Like, we totally get to choose here. What I'm going to do is, the first way, I'm just going to solve it by multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 3/5. All right, I get 15 over 15, which just cancels down to 1. All right, those two are just going to cancel each other. So I'm left with x equals, and then to figure this out, I'm just going to do 10 times 5 and then over 3. All right, 10 times 5 is 50 over 3. Now I can't simplify that anymore. If I could, then I would, but yeah. So 50 over 3 is my answer. All right. The other way, I just want to show you again how you can do this by clearing the denominator. Kind of get you comfortable with that phrase. What I'm going to do is multiply the whole equation by the denominator. So multiply everything by 5. So the 5 is going to cancel with that 5 because you got 1 up top and 1 in the bottom. And so what you're left with is 3 times x is equal to 50. And then you just divide by 3 to cancel out the 3. There it is, same thing. X equals 50 over 3. All right, that's good. I mean, I guess what you could do is you could take that 50 over 3 and plug it back in for x if you wanted to check your answer. So it would have 3/5, but we're going to plug in the 50 over 3. And when we work this out, we should get 10 as our answer. All right. If I multiply across, 3 times 50 is 150. And then 5 times 3 is 15. Yeah, 150 divided by 15 is equal to 10. That's it. That's our answer.